I'm here with Melissa Isaak. Tell me about yourself.
I'm a family law attorney in Alabama, licensed in Alabama and Florida. My firm limits its representation to men in family law matters.
Let's talk about domestic violence. I first came across some of your stuff and I was pretty interested in what's really going on inside the legal community for family law and domestic violence. What are some of the scandals or things that people really don't understand?
I think what people don't understand in the family law arena is domestic violence is used as a tool. It's often alleged falsely because what you can do, and in my experience, it's women, they allege domestic violence even though it's false, and they gain a favorable position with the courts early on. And once you have a favorable position with the court, it tends to carry on and it keeps them in the driver's seat and they're more likely to obtain a favorable result. So it's used as a tool.
It's used as a tool.
Mhm.
I've talked to several lawyers in the last 2 years. I mean, countless actually. And a number of them said some pretty shocking things to me. Like one thing they said was it would almost be borderline malpractice not to include a silver bullet. Explain to me what a silver bullet is for everyone out there. And also explain to me how one person can use a silver bullet. Like explain to me the entire process front to back. Like I want to initiate divorce, the whole bit. How can it be used to gain favor for cash and prizes?
Essentially, the silver bullet is the fastest way to destroy your opposition to win the game. And unfortunately, family court is just that. It's a game. So the process from beginning to end, if there's a breakdown, something happens. There's times where domestic violence truly does happen, but there's times when you, as a spouse, you might be caught in an adulterous relationship. Sometimes as a spouse that it might be financially advantageous for you to actually not be in the marriage. There's several reasons why marriages break down, and women tend to employ this more than men do in my experience, far more than men in my experience. There's several reasons why marriages break down. But when marriages break down, there's a lot on the line. You have money in form of cash, in the form of retirement, in the form of alimony, form of child support. So you have money on the line. You have control of the children. And I say control because that's really what it is when it comes down to when you're in a custody battle. It really comes down to money and control. And money and property tends to follow the children. So if you wish to be awarded the house, judges hate to uproot children and take them out. They want to keep the children in the same environment that they've always been in. So that's the easiest way to get the house is to also get the children. So, and then you have to pay for that house. And so the easiest way to pay for that house is to get alimony and child support. There's a lot of no-fault states. So the states will say, look, we're not going to really take into account the conduct of the parties. So, if there's adultery, we're not going to award property based upon adultery. It's not used as a punitive thing. But even the no-fault states are very much fault states because judges can take the conduct of the parties into consideration when they're dividing up property. So even though things are labeled a no-fault state, they're still very
Very much a false
very
state.
much a fault state, very much. So I've had countless men come in and speak to me and say, I got home from work, I got off early, I wanted to surprise my wife, and there's a truck in the driveway. I didn't know whose it was. So went in there and I literally caught my wife in the act. And within 10 minutes, the police were there. I was getting arrested for domestic violence, because I had threatened her, because I said I threatened the boyfriend who was there, just there to help her out with something else. With a story is fabricated somehow, and you have a husband who comes home from work, who is a good husband, a loyal husband, not a domestic abuser. All of a sudden, he's in jail. He's kicked out of his home. He's restrained from seeing his children because the woman employed the silver bullet.
Okay, let's slow it down just a little bit.
Okay.
So the issue of domestic violence comes from VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about that and how it is really probably unconstitutional?
Yeah, the Violence Against Women's Act, I think what it really does is it financially incentivizes the states to slap labels on people as domestic abusers. They get money for doing so. The Violence Against Women's Act is it's a due process violation. It's a constitutional violation. While even though that act is employed, the act was put into law, and it reads wonderfully. I mean, you have to be a horrible person to disagree with the way that the law reads. It's the way it's implemented. It's where the constitutional violations occur. So you have the states getting all this money to create an industry of domestic violence.
So for each accusation, or each time I go to court, or each time a person is brought to court, the federal government subsidizes that. Is that correct?
They subsidize, yes.
Okay,
the
so-
resources to bring these abusers to court, yes.
So if I'm a woman, can I get a free attorney?
Yes,
If I'm a woman, can I get free housing?
yes.
What else can I get?
Oh, you can get ex parte custody of the children. You can get child support. You can essentially get all the resources that you need to keep on living your life. With no evidence, you can be labeled a battered woman and not have one medical record, not one shred of evidence, not one bruise, not one anything.
Not a police report, not anything. It's just listen and believe. It's my word against your word.
Yes, it's a he said, she said.
It's a he said, she said.